So we should now have Deborah Matthews and Chip Moore on the panelist side. Uh, Ben Bartlett, I believe, declined to participate in tonight's forum.
Great, thanks. Welcome you all to our membership forum for City Council District 3. So first we will ask you to tell us who you are and why you're running for council in 1 minute. So let's start with Deborah.
Can you hear me now? I just unmuted.
Yeah.
Okay, good evening. My name is Deborah Matthews. I am candidate for Berkeley City Council District 3. It says something here on my screen that starting a video or something. Okay, I'm going to start again. I'm Deborah Matthews, Berkeley City Council District 3 candidate. I am running for this seat because despite of our best efforts, South Berkeley has been overlooked for 50 years in economic investment, public safety, and acknowledgments of its historical contributions. What does our community need in order to improve itself? South Berkeley needs leadership who will keep our needs, our community and our residents and our businesses front and center with the council and the mayor. I am the leader who will shepherd that with our city actions to support the district and not observe its continued decline in investment in public safety. I have 30 years of unwavering commitment to our city, serving as a zoning adjustments board chair, housing chair, and planning chair. I am not just ready, but eager to serve District 3. I am the co-founder of South Berkeley Now. We've led the charge for 10 years to bring housing to the Ashby BART station, and I am happy to join many members of our community and our district to say that that process is moving forward. I'm endorsed by the John George Democratic Club, South Berkeley Now, Vice Mayor Susan Wingrath, Council Member Mark Humbert, Khadijah Brown, Berkeley School Board Vice President, Laura Babbitt, Berkeley School Board, former District Council Member 2, Daryl Moore, Elaine Brown, former Black Panther Party leader, Dr. Mark Alexander, Board of Directors for 100 Black Men, Laura Hall, CEO of EAH Housing, Affordable Housing Development, Melvin Newton, former professor at Merritt College, and the Black Panther Party member and brother of the late Huey Newton. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
All right, thank you. Chip Moore, your turn.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Richard. My name is Chip Moore. I am humbly seeking your vote as the Berkeley City Council member for District 3. This is my first opportunity to address you all. So let me give you a little bit of my background and who I am. I have been a Berkeley resident for the last 17 years, so I feel incorporated. I'm a father, a husband, a business entrepreneur, a consultant, and a community advocate. And today I am basically asking for you to see me in a new light. I would like to approach this conversation that we're going to have today in a way that you get to understand my values, what I believe is important for South Berkeley, and how we're going to build. If you'd like to see my endorsements, please check out my website at www.chipinberkeley.vote. And let me also take this time to tell you that I am currently a MPA candidate at the Goldman School of Public Policy. I've invested in myself so I can invest in our community. I serve as the chair of the Police Accountability Board, a planning commissioner. I was the co-chair of the BUSD Task Force on Reparations, and I am a leader by practice and trade. And this is my first time at being a politician. I'm here to serve my community and do what's best for everyone. I don't believe in margins. I believe that we're a community in whole, and I want to explain that vision for you today. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Chip. So next, we want to give each candidate 2 minutes to address the top 3 issues that you would like to work on and address as a council member. And so we'll change the order. So this time we'll go to Chip first.
Sure. Thanks, Richard. My focus, if we're doing 3 topics and we're just starting there, it's going to be housing, public safety, and the integration of our Berkeley Cal community in with our city. I don't believe the values that are espoused at Campanelli Tower stop there. I believe that we are one community, and the way that we achieve that is providing access to all. We have we have the opportunity now to bring and bridge some of the greatest minds in the world with this community that has always tried to bring people together in a district that has historically been impacted by all the political and social ills of the last 50 years. So for me, public safety, making sure that our police have everything that they need. When it comes to housing, I want to create a right of return program and a program that will allow our municipal workers, police, and firefighters to get a foot in the door here in Berkeley. I believe that we should be building out a community land trust to create generational wealth, that people don't just get here, but they're able to thrive here. If we still believe that Berkeley should be a place of diversity, equity, and inclusion, then please take time to listen to my plan.
Great. Thank you. Deborah, same question.
Sure. First and foremost is public safety. This is an issue that we are facing throughout our city. We know historically that South Berkeley has always had the highest crime rate. When people feel safe, they are more likely to engage in social and economic activities, which leads to community development and prosperity. Public safety is important throughout our city. It helps to reduce crime, protect people, and our properties. We have just recently experienced here in South Berkeley a murder on August the 16th, which was a Friday in the afternoon. Many people were walking out for lunch, riding bikes, driving from one errand to another, and this incident occurred, this murder occurred. It has created a lack of hope in our community. And I am convinced that if we begin to address public safety here in our community, where it has historically rooted, we know that it will have major positive impacts throughout our entire communities. Housing. I have been a housing advocate for 30 years. I think I started at the age of 5, and I hope no one's counting. Increasing we know that housing is increasing to become a commodity, but many of us still hold it very deeply in our hearts that it is a human right. Too often, housing violations go in with impunity. Housing for everyone is the golden key to a thriving city. For businesses, the need for diversity of workers in order to thrive and grow. They need access to people who can work in the nearby communities. Housing provides critical foundation for our personal health, our well-being, and our access to education. My third point will be infrastructure. Infrastructure connects us, people's jobs, education, healthcare, and allows goods and services to move effectively throughout our boundaries. It allows businesses to operate. It provides bikeability and walkability and transport for our residents and adds to the beautification of our city. We need to continue to address that. I am so glad that citywide we are taking this on, and I look forward to those improvements continuing. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll have a board question now and would urge people, members, to put questions in the chat if you have a specific question for the candidates. So the next question, which will go to Deborah first, really picks up on what was just being said about people having recently been shot and killed in District 3. So could you expand on your plans to address crime in the neighborhood if elected? 2-minute answer, and first to Deborah.
Sure. I think one of the first things that we must deal with in addressing crime is to make sure that we're looking at it from the standpoint of community policing. Engaging with our police is very important to our community, making sure that we are doing interaction prior to an urgent emergency. This gives the officers the opportunity to know our businesses, to know the people who are regularly in our communities, and also to be able to make the contacts that they need pretty immediately in the community. There are often small capsules or small places where these issues filter from. And in order to address them, we have to go to the source. In the 3200 block of Adeline Street at the moment, we are having a drug turf war. This has been going on for years and has not been addressed, and it continues to escalate to the point now where murders have happened regularly, where we have had fires with cars, we have large amounts of debris, we have isolated situations where people are literally with furniture on our walkways and streets. This is no longer acceptable. We need to do an intervention right away. There has been a $2 million allocation that was recently provided by the city of Berkeley to an organization, Living Free. And I am hoping that they will come forward very soon with an outline and a plan of the direction, the program interventions that they plan for South and West Berkeley to lower crime. $2 million is a large allocation for a pilot project. I think that this can be a very effective tool in moving the needle forward toward progress. We have not heard anything yet, so I'm excited as that moves forward. I am not waiting until I'm elected to implement programs to start the interaction of community policing. I recently held on August the 1st, prior to this murder, a coffee with the cops right in the 3200 block of Adeline. It was well attended by the community members. They were excited to see that there were officers who joined us and had conversation with them, where people could talk about what their concerns were, what their fears were, and what they were hoping that we could accomplish as a community. This is the kind of outreach that needs to begin. As I said, I'm not waiting until elected to possibly being elected to start. I am doing this now because it is important to me that intervention happen in our community and that we have higher public safety and lower crime rates. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Deborah. Chip, over to you.
Thank you, Richard. I appreciate that. Let me be clear. When we're talking about the murders that happened on the 3200 block of Adeline, those are my neighbors. Those are people that live a block away from me. They are generationally belong to this neighborhood for 4 and 5 generations. And I say this knowingly, not only as my position as the chair of the Police Accountability Board, as one of the members of the Gun Violence Intervention Task Force that allocated the $2 million to Live Free. That was part of the work that I took on personally. But if you go to that 3200 block of Adeline right now, you won't find those gentlemen there, because there was only one candidate in this race that could walk up to that corner and clear it, and that was me. When we talk about public safety and we throw the term in an overarching just an overarching definition, I want us to narrow that down. I want us to be clear what public safety means. And it's important in the work that I do in the city, as a member of the National Association of Civilian Oversight of Law Enforcement, as a member of the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives. I take this work very seriously. And when we're talking about the murders of community members, I also take that seriously. Gun violence intervention is one of the first steps. This $2 million allocation is one of the first steps. Our real community engagement, though, is sitting down and wondering why there is still a need for these gentlemen to be on this block, selling and breaking laws within our community. I wanted them gone. We got them gone. We want them to do better. How, as a community, do we respond? How do we make sure that this isn't something that is a revolving door and somewhere we can change behaviors. And in that, create real public safety. It's not just that some of us feel safe or that we have the opportunity to do economic development and build. I'm all for it. What I don't want is to leave the community members behind that have been here for the last 50 years. Our plans have to be all encompassing.
Great, thank you. So let me combine a couple of questions we've gotten in the Q&A, really to talk about your vision for street safety. What would be in your transportation plan to make streets safe for everyone, including kids walking and biking to school? And especially, how would you improve walking and biking access to the Ashby BART? Let's see. I guess back to you, Chip.
Thanks, Richard. So I believe public transportation in our next generation will be tantamount to the survival of not only Berkeley as a whole, but South Berkeley especially. We are the travel hub of the city of Berkeley. We're where the highway access is. We are where Berkeley, Oakland, and Emeryville meet. We are the first stop of the Ashby BART station. All of these major traveling thoroughfares have been in existence for for 50 years. But when it comes to biking, when it comes to our young children on the roads, and it comes to our elders who are taking space and are getting older with our community, I think it's imperative that we have dedicated travel avenues that we can say, these are going to be safe for our children. I live a block and a half from Malcolm X Elementary School, so I was very lucky that I could see my children ride their bicycles down the street. Not all parents have that privilege, but I want the streets to be so safe that they have that same feeling of security, and that's what we're really talking about. So dedicated bike lanes for our youth to get to the areas that are going to be most concentrated with our young people, I think is imperative. I think more access to our bus lines, to Ashby BART, to North Berkeley BART, downtown. This has to start becoming the framework of thinking on how we're going to move throughout our city. And I hope it's just the beginning. As the marina turns on, as we have more bus lanes and hopefully even some light rail when things get started.
Yeah, thanks, Chip. Deborah?
Yes. First of all, I'm going to focus on the Adeline corridor. The 4 lanes that are currently on the Adeline corridor, we have received information and studies that show that the speed limits there, the travel speed is about 40 miles per hour, which is unsafe for any pedestrian crossing a very broad streetway. In addition to that, we also learned from economic development that the width of that street is as wide as I-80. So we know that it is important that the narrowing and the road diet be implemented along the Adeline corridor. This would bring really positive outcomes for our small businesses, for walkability, for economic gain for our small businesses, because no one is stopping. No one is going into them for shopping. So we know that slowing that traffic down on that corridor is going to be major. It makes it more safe for people to cross, and gives an opportunity for more interaction between cyclists, walkability, and the businesses. South Berkeley now has led the charge on that with the city, and I'm happy to say that we have a 2-lane referendum that has been passed and approved by the city along the Adeline corridor that will provide narrowing. In addition to that, it gives us an opportunity to look at creating more greenways. South Berkeley only is home to one park, which is Grove Street. We love Grove Street Park. we still need more green spaces within our community that people can enjoy. So this gives us an opportunity to create a broader greenway and availability for people to gather and have interaction. It slows down the traffic and it creates economic vitality. So that's what I would be supporting.
All right. Thanks, Deborah. So thank you all for your questions. It's time to conclude. So let's give 1 minute for a conclusion to each candidate. First to Chip.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Richard. So the reason that I believe our time is now with our campaign is because the decisions that we make will be impactful for the next 100 years. As we discuss the Ashby BART development, and we're talking about a lane diet, as a planning commissioner, I have concerns. I want to make sure everyone understands that we're going to need those lanes in that space when we develop this new, well, when we have the Ashby BART development in there, and the infrastructure that we'll need for the thousands and thousands of people that we'll be adding to District 3. So I just want to be clear, there's much more planning that has to go into the future than what will work for the next 20 or 30 years. It was 1973 that BART came to our community. And in that time, our community was held back from economic development and empowerment and the opportunity to create the generational wealth that resides within these homes. Now I'd like to do, through a reparative framework, a way to reignite our economic hub, create new businesses that will support this new influx of people, and bring diversity, equity, and inclusion back to South Berkeley. You know, I'd like to bridge all these young families with
All
the
right.
people that have been here.
Thanks, Chip. Sorry, we gotta wrap it up.
Right.
Deborah, 1 minute.
That's it.
Yep.
I love it that Berkeley is my home. I raised my daughter from South Berkeley King Child Development School, preschool, to Berkeley High graduation. I've seen Berkeley's immense transformation over the past several decades. I'm acutely aware of the many issues our community faces. I'm passionate about improving the quality of life in Berkeley through our community collaboration, initiatives, and advancing public safety, affordable housing, and equitable infrastructure, along with sustainable climate solutions. I would be honored to have the support of the Berkeley Democratic Club and continue to work together on key issues. Currently, our democracy is fragile. As stated by Coretta King many years ago, struggle is a never-ending process. Freedom is never really won. You earn it and you win it in every generation. May democracy win. I would be honored to have the BDC's endorsement. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you both. Appreciate your time this evening.